Gentlemen, girls, and boys of assembled company, welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe. And it is Friday. In the UK, it is Friday evening. On North America, it's the early afternoon, I think, or late morning, depending on which bit of North America you're in. We have a selection of North America. We have Ohio, Toronto in Canada, and Babassi in Washington D.C. So, and that's what I can see on the screen here. There may be others watching in other streaming devices. But anyway, the point is, the relevant point for this evening, the incredibly important point is that we have with us in Toronto the amazing Norman Perrin, who is as acute Mr. President King Louis Lindsay Timmins knows. He's a fine storyteller. And so, Norman, I'm going to open go on because I don't just pull and try right here, but I'm going to leave it to you to tell some stories, and I shall join you as soon as I can. Right, Norman, take it away.
Thank you, John. That's a wonderful introduction.
Are you ready, Norman?
I'm ready. Oh, yes.
Norman, are you?
Okay. Well, I was wondering what kind of stories to tell. And of course, to help myself, I made up a list. And the list is right here. And it just by coincidence, I got a chance to chat with Louis for a little bit. And he says he likes stories about animals and how things to be. And wouldn't you know it? The very first story I have in my list is how the animals got their voices. And so, without further ado, this is a story from long, long, long ago when the animals had no voices. Oh, it was a very strange time. When the dog met the cat, all they could do was nod their heads, wave their tails around, and keep on going because they had no voice. When the birds flew through the air in the forest was silent. And so the shaper and maker of things said, I think it's time the animals got their voices. And so the shaper reached up, up, up into the sky. And there he took the roar of the winds and the whistles of the winds and put them into a bag. And then he reached down, down, down into the ocean, where he got the gurgles and murmurs and of the water, and he took those murmurs and gurgles and he put them into the bag. And then he mixed the bag up and made voices. Enough voices for all of the living creatures of the world. And when there'd been enough voices in the bag for all of the animals all the creatures of the world, the shaper cried out in a voice, "Oh, you beings of the world, come to the clearing by the edge of the great green forest. There you will find a bag. In the bag will be voices, voices for all of the creatures of the world." And the voice of the shaper and maker of things rolled around the world like thunder, and all of the animals heard, but they couldn't say anything about it. But they were there. They gathered around that bag, and it was a huge bag. And there was hoots, and there was howls, there was screeches and yowls coming from that bag. And each of the creatures and the animals thought, what will my voice sound like? What is a voice? Well, the shaper and the maker of things stepped forward and addressed all of the animals and said, Today you shall receive your voices, your own true voices. And you must be careful and choose, you must choose carefully, because while the sun is in the sky, you may choose whatever voice you want. And if you don't like it, you can trade it with another for another voice, or you can trade with another animal for a new voice as well. But remember this: once the sun sets, you'll keep your voice, your own true voice, forever. Choose carefully. Well, the first animal was the dog. The dog ran, leapt into the bag, jumped into the bag, came out with a voice, took a deep breath, and the dog went quack, 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 quack. Excuse me, that doesn't sound quite dog-like. And so the dog looked into the bag, but this time the dog used its nose. That's how the dog finds things, with its nose. No, I don't like that. That makes me think of a bear. No, that makes me think of a. Oh, no, not that one. That's a skunk. And then the dog said, "Ah, that's my voice. That's my own true voice." And dog traded the voice and reached and put it on, took a deep, deep, deep breath. And Louis, what do you think the dog sounded like? You're right. That's my voice, said the dog. That is my own true voice. And the dog went into the forest to play. So animal after animal got their voices. And there's hoots and howls and screeches and yowls began to fill the forest. And the birds flew into that bag silent, and they flew out of the bag singing. And the forest began to fill for the first time ever with the sound of birds singing. And soon the bag was getting emptier and emptier and emptier until at last there was 2 voices left. And 2 animals, lion and wee little mouse, right behind the lion. Lion looked into that bag and saw that there was a great big growly voice. Ah, Lion thought, that is a voice a lion should have. And the lion was about to take it in his paws, and the mouse saw that voice and said, I want that voice. That is my voice. And the mouse ran between Lion's big claws, between those huge claws, and leaped up into the air, and took Lion's voice and ran into the forest. Lion got the only voice that was left in that bag. Make that mouse give back my voice, squeaked the lion. I'm sorry, said the shaper. Mouse may have stolen that voice, but I can't take it away from Mouse. You will have to get it from Mouse. Well, if I don't get my voice from the mouse, said the lion, I'm going to kill that mouse. Oh, you can't do that. You must not do that. Because you see, lion, if you kill the mouse before the sun sets, mouse, your voice will die with the mouse, and your voice, lion, will die forever. You're going to have to use your brains and not your strength. Oh, poor lion. Lion wasn't used to using his brains. So he ran into the forest calling out, oh, lion, please. Mouse, please. Give me back my voice, my own true voice. But Mouse was hiding underneath a bush and watched the lion disappear into the forest and into the shadows. And when Lion was gone, Little Mouse crept out from behind that bush, from underneath the bush. Little Mouse took a deep, deep, deep breath, and Little Mouse went, and all the leaves fell off the tree. That was lots of fun. And can we unmute Louis to help me with this second roar? Just for a moment, and you'll know when the part. Okay, then. And Little Mouse said, that was fun. I'm going to roar again. And Mouse took a deep, deep, deep breath and went, Oh, yeah, that great roaring. And so little mouse went from tree to tree to tree, and the leaves were flying every which way and turning different colors, and it was so much fun for mouse. But that is why to this day in the autumn, the leaves turn color and the winds blow, the leaves fly every which way. And the little mouse was the one who made it that way. Now, roaring turned out to be boring work after play after a while. And so little mouse came up to deeper and deeper and deeper into the forest, and little mouse found elephant. I'm going to have some fun with elephant. And little mouse climbed up, 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 up. It was a long ways up to elephant's big shoulders, and then up, 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 up to elephant's tiny little ears. Well, you see, in those days, elephant had tiny little ears, short, short, short nose. And little mouse took a deep, deep, deep breath, and little mouse went, "Roar!" An elephant's ears turned into umbrellas, and his nose shot out 10 feet long. And poor elephant went trumpeting into the forest, and little mouse fell off of elephant's shoulders. And that is why, to this very day, elephants are afraid of mice. And now you know. And so, well, I have to tell you, roaring is hot and thirsty work. And so Mouse went down to the water hole where all the animals went to get a cool drink of water, and was just about to jump into the pool when a voice behind a very large lion-shaped bush said, "Hey, you better be careful, Mouse." "What? What? Who's that?" "It's a friend," said that voice behind that very large lion-shaped bush. "If you jump in the water before the sun sets, your voice might get wet. And if your voice gets wet, then it might shrink to a squeak. So be careful, Mouse." "Well, thank you, my friend," said little Mouse. And Mouse took Lion's voice off and hung it upon that bush, where it gleamed golden red in the rays of the setting sun. And Mouse jumped into the water and was have a cool drink of water, running around, swimming around, when Mouse did not see a big paw reach and take that voice and put another voice on. And suddenly the voice behind the bush said, "Mouse, Mouse, Mouse, look, the sun is about to disappear. Get your voice or you will be silent forever." And indeed, the sun was about to set, and Mouse swam to the shore, ran up to the bush, grabbed that voice, and put it on. Just as the sun set. And now that the sun had set, all of the animals would keep their voices, their own true voices, forever. Mouse went around to see who his friend was, but nobody was there. So Mouse went further into the forest, and down this pathway and down that pathway, and found Giraffe. "Oh, ho, 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 I'm going to have fun with Giraffe." And little Mouse went climbing up Giraffe's long, 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 long leg. That was a long climb. And up his long and long and long and long neck. That was an even longer climb. And finally, little Mouse crept up behind Giraffe's huge ears, and little Mouse took a deep, deep, deep breath, and little Mouse went, "Squeak, squeak, squeak." And when Giraffe heard that squeak next to his ears, oh, he shook his head. And little Mouse went flying over the trees. His tail was whistling in the wind. His whiskers were whirling around, and he went splash, in a pool of water, deep, deep, deep into the water. And Mouse would have drowned. Mouse would have died. But a great golden paw reached down into the darkness of the water and lifted Mouse up onto warm, dry earth. Oh, who do you think it was? Oh, Lion, said little Mouse. Oh, Lion, thank you for saving my voice, my life, but my voice is nothing but a squeak. Oh, that's too bad, said Lion. You must have gotten your voice wet somehow and it shrank. You should have been more careful, little Mouse. But I kept my voice dry. And I have a wonderful voice. And in happiness and in joy. And Louis, I want you to be in on this roar. Can I get your help with this roar again? And little Lion took a deep, deep, deep breath. And Lion let out a perfect. You're just in time. That roar wrapped itself around the trees that went into the forest. The giraffe ran into the grass lines, and little Mouse heard that voice coming from Lion's true voice for the first time. And little Mouse was scared. Mouse ran out into the shadows and in to the bushes, and it's been hiding in the shadows ever since, afraid of anything that even looks like a lion, like a cat. Meow. Well, to this day, all of the animals have their true voices. Lion has lion's true voice, and mouse has mouse's true voice. And may each one of us find our own true voices as the animals did long, long ago. Thank you. Um, okay then. Well, since I've started on animals, we might as well keep on animals. And we're going to go to a time when there was trouble. The world had been around for a long time, but in some places the rain fell and plants grew and everyone had enough to eat. The fruit trees had fruit on them and the fields gave grain, but there came a time of drought. And so the trees dried up, and only one tree survived, and that was a special magic tree. And it hung with fruit that was red like apples and yellow like oranges and purple like grapes. It had food of all kinds, but it was up, 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 so high that none of the animals, not even giraffe, could reach that fruit, and they were all hungry. They're all thirsty, and they wondered if they could ever get that fruit. But the turtle said, we can't get that fruit unless we know the name of the tree. And my grandmother's grandmother, way back, said that there's a lion in the mountains, and the lion lives in a cave, and the lion in the cave knows the name of the tree. So if one of us goes and gets the name of the tree, then we will all be able to eat the fruit of the tree if we know the name of the tree. Well, the first animal off was the gazelle. I am the fastest animal there is, said Gazelle, and went bounding across the main. Kaboing, 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 and came to the mountains. Boing, the boing, up the mountains, and then into the valley, and there was the cave, and he said, and the voice inside the cave, who's out there disturbing my sleep? It's me, Gazelle. And the animals, we need to have food to eat, but we need to know the name of the tree. And oh, great powerful lion, you have the name of the tree. Will you tell me the name of the tree? And the lion says, okay, I'll tell you that. And even though you disturb my nap, the name of the tree is Ungali. Okay, said the gazelle, Ungali, Ungali, and don't come back and disturb me again. And so the lion went back to sleep, And the gazelle went down the mountain, kaboing, 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 down to the plains, kaboing, kaboing, kaboing. But as he was halfway across the plains, he was going kaboing, kabonk. His foot landed in a gopher hole. I don't know if there's a gopher hole as we know it, but it's a gopher hole as I know it. And when the poor gazelle got up, dusted himself off, he got up and he said, "Oh, the name of the tree, what was it? The name is, oh dear. The name was George? The name of the tree was Fred? That doesn't sound right." And so when he came back to where all the animals were gathered around the tree, he said, "Did you get the name of the tree?" They called out. "No," said the gazelle. "I forgot." And so the next animal to try and said, the elephant. And what's the thing that elephants are good for? They remember things. And so the elephant went slowly, ploddity plod, across the plains. "My name, I will remember the name of the tree because I am elephant and I don't forget." And he went past that whole, "My name is elephant and I don't forget." And he went up into the mountains and he says, "I don't forget." And he came up to the cave and he was saying, "I don't forget." "Who disturbs my sleep?" said the lion from that cave. And elephant was afraid, but he said, I am here to get the name of the tree. I gave it to gazelle." He says, "Yes, but gazelle forgot it." "Well, then I won't tell you." "Oh, please," said lion. I'm saying, said elephant. "We are hungry. We are thirsty. The little ones. Think of the little ones." "Oh, very well," said the lion. "I will tell you again, but don't bother me again." And so the lion said, "The name of the tree is Ungali." "Repeat it after me." "The name of the tree is Ungali." "Okay," said lion. "I'm going back to sleep and don't bother me again." And so the elephant went down the valley. The name of the tree is Ngali. Okay, I got that. And he went into the plains. The name of the tree is Ngali. And yes, it's going to be that elephant I can't forget. And he was so busy saying the name of the tree is Ngali that he didn't see, guess what he didn't see in front of him? He saw that gopher hole. And he stepped into the gopher hole. And there's a lot of elephant to fall. And it went brum, 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 brum. When a huge elephant finally got up, dusted himself off, had a drink of water. He said, "Okay, I'm here to bring back the name of the tree." "Yes, name of the tree." "What's the name of the tree?" And poor elephant had to go back to the animals. "Did you get the name of the tree?" "I forgot," said elephant. "I forgot." Well, the animals were very, very, very unhappy. Said, I guess it can't be done." "No," said turtle. I was my great, 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 great grandmother that knew this story. And I'm the one that will go up to the lion in the forest. I mean, in the mountains. And so Turtle went slowly, 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 slowly. And I got to move him faster because the story won't end otherwise. And he went up into the mountains and he came to the cave. And at the scraping sound of his feet, Lion woke up. "Who's there?" "It's me, Tortoise," said Tortoise. "What are you here for?" "As if I don't know." "I bet you the elephant forgot again." "Yes," said Tortoise, "he forgot." "Well, I told the gazelle, I told the elephant I won't tell you the name of the tree." "You mean not at all?" "No, I won't, and I'll never tell you the tree name of the tree is Ngali. So go away." "I'm glad you're not going to tell me the name of the tree is Ngali," said Tortoise. "Have a good sleep and sweet dreams." And little Tortoise went down the valley, down to the plain, saying, "The name of the tree is Ngali. The name of the tree is Ngali. My great-great-grandmother knew the name of the tree, and the name of the tree is Ngali. I must not forget that the name of the tree is Ngali. And he was so busy saying the name of the tree, Ngali, he walked right into that gopher hole and disappeared from sight. But you heard it, and out of the hole came Tortoise, saying, still, the name of the tree is Ngali. The name of the tree is Ngali. And he came to the great tree where all the animals were waiting for them. What's the name of the tree? The name of the tree, said Tortoise, is Ngali. And all the animals cried out with one voice, the name of the tree is Ngali. And the tree bent down, 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 and the branches covered with fruit like bananas and grapes and oranges and apples, and the animals feasted and feasted and feasted. And since it was a magic tree, there was enough for everyone, and enough for when the drought was over, until at last the animals were able to get more food when the plants began to grow again. And to this very day, the animals tell each other stories. And they told the people the stories. They told the story of the name of the tree, that so you and we will never forget the name of the tree, as the animals almost forgot a long time ago. Thank you. And I'm going to finish. I think. See. Yeah, I'm not too sure where I had. I have a couple more stories, but it's how stories came to be, and I particularly like this one. It was a long time ago when when all the plants were wandering around the world. It was like when they had their voice, the animals had their voices. And so the roses went to live in loose soil. The grass went to live in large flat areas. Cactus said, hey, we love dry. And they came to a place, oh, this is dry enough. And that's why there's cactus in dry places. They love it there, and they don't like to be disturbed. So anybody who touches a cactus soon learns not to. Until at last, a bunch of plants were still looking here and there. They went up into the mountains, too high. They went down to the sea, too wet. They went into the valleys, and they said, too shady and too windy. Everything was too whatever, or not enough. And so they went wandering from one place to another until at last they came to where all the other animals and birds were. And they would come to the and they would come to the cactus, they would come to the grass, and the grass would say, have you found a new home? No, said the creatures, we haven't found a home. And they went again and again and again and again. Well, they never did find a home. And they were the brightly colored plants that flew from place to place to place. And that is why we have butterflies to this very day. And if you ever see a butterfly, and if you know their language, and if you ask them this question, have you found a home yet? No, said the butterflies, but we're still looking. And I think that makes them happy to be looking, forever looking. Now, I think that is the. I don't know. We have room for one more story. John, what do you think? Oh, yeah, I think I will finish it with the butterflies flying all around. Louis, thank you for helping me with the roar. That helps a lot because my voice, as you may notice, gets a little ticklish after I've done Lion's voice. And so I would like to say thank you for being listeners for once again. And John, I'm sure, has a few announcements to make. If we have for next week. IK. Here's a story that I like too. Long time ago, Guskabi lived in the eastern part of his North America, Turtle Island, and he lived with his grandmother Groundhog. And the reason why he lived with his grandmother Groundhog is because although he meant well, his brain, well, he started some rather foolish ideas and he got into trouble, and his grandmother was the one who always helped him. Now, Guskabi was the one who did hunting. He would go out and hunt the deer and the rabbit and catch the fish, and it was hard work. There was a deer and he had to run after the deer and run and run and run and run and run and run. Oh, poor Guskabi. And it was so much work. And one day he came back with only a couple little fish. He said, Grandmother, the deer and the animals are so hard to catch. I know we need them for food, but why is it so hard to catch them? Why can't they make the deer really slow and stupid so I can catch them and then we won't go hungry? Well, they're fast and they're swift, said his grandmother Groundhog, so that you, my grandson, will be fast and swift, and so that you'll become smart and intelligent. Okay, said Gustavi, if I'm smart, and I'm going to use my smart, and I'm going to think. And he went off and he sat underneath his tree and he thought 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 and he got an idea. Ah, grandmother, he said, I know what I'm going to do. And he went to his grandmother and he said, Grandmother, I've got an idea. Now, when grandmother Groundhog heard that, she sometimes wondered what the idea might be. But she said, okay, grandson, what's the idea? He says, well, I need a game bag. You see, it's sometimes very difficult to carry the animals I catch, and they fall off my shoulders and my arms get tired and whatnot. Make me a game bag, a bag that I can carry the animals that I catch back home, back to the lodge. Very well, said grandmother, I will make you one. And so she took the hide of a bear and she plucked all the fur off the hide of that bear. And she twisted and twisted and twisted and twisted and twisted that fur into thread. And then she wove that thread into cloth. And then she cut the cloth and sewed up a bag, a beautiful bag. And Guskabi took that bag, looked inside, and he said, Grandmother, this is not the bag I want. So Grandmother Groundhog took the hide of a deer, plucked the fur of the deer, spun it into fine thread, wove the thread into fine cloth, sewed and cut that cloth sewed it into a bag. Guskabi took this is not the bag I want, Grandmother. And so Grandmother Woodchuck once again took the bag aside, took the hide of a moose, and twisted and turned and spun that hair of the moose, the fur of the moose, into thread, strong thread, and then wove it into strong cloth, and then cut and sewed that fur cloth into a bag. And Guskabi took that bag, looked inside of it, looked at his grandmother and said, Grandmother, this is not the bag that I wanted. And so Grandmother Woodchuck said, Guskabi, what kind of bag do you want? Ah, I thought you would never ask, said Guskabi. Grandmother Groundhog, I would like a bag made from the fur of a groundhog. Grandmother Groundhog, for in those days the animals took the shape of humans and animals as well. And Grandmother Groundhog was like a huge groundhog. And so Grandmother Groundhog said, Guskabi, I know that you will ask and ask and ask until you get what you want, and I will give you what you want, and we will see what happens. And so grandmother groundhog pulled all the fur off of her chest. Pluck, 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 pluck. She took that fine fur and she wove it into, spun it into the finest of thread. And then she took that thread and she wove it in the softest and the gentlest and the strongest of cloth. And then she took that cloth, she cut and cut and cut. And then she sewed it into a bag. And when she had made the bag, she took the quills of a porcupine, dipped them into colors made from plants and berries because it was her own fur. And she decorated that bag of all different colors until it was the most magnificent bag you'd ever seen. And Bluskabi looked at the bag. This is the bag I wanted all along. Thank you, grandmother. And he went into the forest and he called out, all you animals of the forest, I have terrible news. The world is about to fall apart. And all of the animals came around. Bluskabi, what do you mean? He says, well, my grandmother groundhog said all the world's animals will die, but anybody who is inside this bag will be safe. Oh, well, can we go into the bag? There's enough room for all of you, said Bluskabi. Please come on in, be my guest. And all of the animals of the world went into the bag. From the north, the polar bears, from the east were the deer, and from the west up were the buffalo, and from the south were alligators. And at last, the very last animal was the little guinea pig. And guinea pig went into the bag, and Bluskabi tied the bag up tight, and it was as light as a feather. So he went in to his grandmother and said, grandmother, I've been very smart. I tricked all of the animals of the world, and now they're inside this bag, and whenever we want fur, whenever we want food, just reach in and take one out. Uh-huh, said Grandmother Woodchuck. Is there any food in the bag for those animals? No. No, they don't, they're not, why should I feed them? They're supposed to be food for us. Uh-huh, said Grandmother Groundhog. Well, if there's no food there, is there any water? No, there's no water. You know how much work it is to carry water for them? Yeah. Is there any air inside that bag for the animals? No, said Bluskabi. There's no air. I've tied it up tight. And without air and water and food, what's going to happen to all the animals of the world? Oh, said Bluskabi, grandmother, yes, they will. Bluskabi, you know the right thing to do. Yes, grandmother, I know what to do. And he went into the forest again. He opened up the bag. He said, all the animals of the world did fall apart, but my grandmother gave me some glue and I glued it all together again. And the animals all came out saying, oh, Bluskabi, it's a wonderful world. It's as if it had never fallen apart. And all the animals came out. And to the north went the polar bears, to the east went the deer, to the west went the buffalo, and down to the south went the alligators. And the very last animal that came out of the bag was little guinea pig. And so when he saw the guinea pig disappear, the bag was empty and he needed to go hunting. And with a sigh, he picked up the bag and his bow and his arrows. Hunting was such hard work. And that's the story of Bluskabi's game bag and a lesson that he learned and he kept to learn because now he told this story that we too must not try to be greedy like Aunt Bluskabi was long time ago. So thank you very much for for sharing, listening to the story. Thank you to everybody who has heard them.
Well, thank you, Norman. Been a great evening.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a round of applause for Mr. Perrin.
Or a square of applause. We're all
A
in
square of
rectangle.
applause.
Yes.
No. I don't
Thank you,
like
everyone.
corners.
Yeah.
I don't like corners. You get your coat caught in them and rip the pockets.
Right.
uh,
Okay.
okay, what's coming up? Well, I haven't the faintest idea what's coming up next Friday, but I do not know what's coming up on the 22nd, which is the Worldwide Story Round, which we are reintroducing. So that will be at 6 o'clock UK time on Sunday, the 22nd, and the 27th will be, which will be the Friday, is Dispina. But I haven't the faintest idea what's happening before then. So keep an eye on the schedule. And Waleed, I will send you the schedule when I have it in front of me.
Right. And
I think there's still some gaps to fill anyway. So but meanwhile, thank you all for attending. Thank you, Norman.
Thank you, John, and listeners and everybody there.
You got your invitation to Marrakesh.
I got the invitation. Okay. Actually, I wanted just to ask if I can give you a call right after this.
No.
No.
Oh, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah. It's news from somebody else from Korea who asked me about going to the Marrakesh. So.
All right. Well, yeah, certainly. Give me a call and then send me their name. So make sure I've got their name and their email, and I'll send them an invitation.
Yes, but there needs to be a little more communication. That's why I'm asking to speak with you. Yeah. Anyways, I'm saying
if you get hold of me straight away as soon as we go off, then.
Yes, I'll do that. But anyways, I know this is being recorded, and to those who do not understand what we are speaking, storytellers often speak in riddles. And so this will be one of those riddles you may or may not get the answer to. So, but again, I'll just sign off saying thank you to everyone. 3 apples fell from heaven, 1 for the listener, 1 for the tellers, and 1 for the ones who heard the stories. Thank you.
And thank you, Waleed, for flying the magic carpet as always. Very well.
Very well. Okay. I'm going to.
Everybody have a gorgeous
Bye. And I'm losing. Where is the sign? Oh, there it is.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Wait until everyone's gone. So.
Take care, Louis.
And then I'll sign off. Okay, then. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye, Baba.
No, to be continued.